He was starving, his ribs pressing against worn-out skin, his voice trembling as he begged for a piece of bread. To most, he was invisible, just another poor black man on the street. But that day, when his desperate eyes met the gaze of a wealthy stranger, something unexpected happened. The beggar asked a question so raw, so haunting, it pierced deeper than hunger itself. What unfolded next wasn't just about food. It revealed a hidden grief, a truth that shattered pride and exposed pain on both sides. And the world would never look at them the same again. The city never showed mercy to the forgotten. For years, he wandered its streets with torn shoes and an empty stomach, carrying memories heavier than the hunger that gnawed at him. Once he had dreams, a family, and a future. But racism, rejection, and relentless hardship stripped it all away, leaving him invisible, just another black beggar in a world that refused to see his humanity. Each day was a fight for survival, every glance from strangers a reminder of his place at the very bottom. Yet on this day, as he stood outside a glittering restaurant, the contrast was sharper than ever. Laughter spilled from inside, the rich feasting without thought, while he pressed his hand to his stomach. What he didn't know was that a single encounter, one fleeting moment, would tear open wounds deeper than hunger itself. The air outside the restaurant was thick with the smell of roasted meat and buttered bread. He could almost taste it, though he hadn't eaten properly in days. His hands trembled as he reached into the trash bin, searching for scraps that might ease the burning in his stomach. But before his fingers found anything, laughter erupted behind him. A group of well-dressed men had stopped, their expensive watches catching the streetlights. "Look at him," one of them sneered, pointing. "Begging again." Doesn't he get tired of it? He froze. Their eyes didn't see a man. They saw an object, a stain, a problem that shouldn't exist in their perfect world. He wanted to explain that he once worked, that life had torn everything from him, that he wasn't always this way. But no one cared for explanations. They only cared for the spectacle of his suffering. The group passed, their laughter trailing like knives, but shame clung tighter than hunger. Still, he pushed forward, standing at the edge of the glowing restaurant doors. The warmth inside called to him. His heart pounded as he thought, maybe, just maybe, someone would listen. And then, the moment arrived. A man stepped out. Not just any man. His clothes spoke of wealth, his shoes polished, his watch gleaming. A millionaire by the look of him, untouchable by the world's cruelties. Their eyes met, and for a heartbeat, the beggar thought he saw softness. Desperation surged. This was his chance. He stepped forward, voice breaking. Do you also cry from hunger?" The words pierced the air, louder than he expected, trembling with years of pain. For a second, silence hung heavy. The millionaire's face shifted. Not anger, not disgust, but something unreadable. And yet, before anything could be spoken, whispers began to spread. Diners turned, curious eyes watching. To them, it was a scene of ridicule, a beggar daring to address a man of power. "Get away from him!" someone barked from inside. "He doesn't belong here!" The beggar's chest tightened. He had risked everything for a sliver of compassion, and already the world was pushing him back into the shadows. He wanted to run, but his legs held him in place. The millionaire's gaze hadn't left him. Something was happening, something hidden beneath the polished surface of wealth. But then, the doors of the restaurant swung wider, the lights spilling out like judgment. More voices joined, sharp, mocking, dismissive. Pathetic, disgusting. He should be locked away. The beggar's throat ached as he fought to hold back tears. He had been humiliated before, spat on, beaten, ignored. But never had his plea been so raw, so vulnerable. And never had so many eyes been fixed on him, waiting to see if he would be crushed once again. And in that charged silence, the millionaire finally opened his mouth. The millionaire's lips trembled as he stared at the frail man before him. The crowd's mocking voices grew louder, each word a stone hurled at the beggar's dignity. Yet, in that storm of ridicule, the wealthy man did something unexpected. He didn't turn away. His eyes glistened, his jaw tightened, and suddenly the mask of power and privilege cracked. The beggar's question, "Do you also cry from hunger?" echoed in his mind. But it wasn't hunger he felt burning in his chest. It was grief, a grief so sharp, so unbearable, that it hollowed him from the inside. Just days earlier, he had buried his only son, a boy who had everything money could buy, yet had been taken by fate far too soon. The weight of that loss crushed him now, and in the hollow face of the beggar, he saw something hauntingly familiar, the same emptiness, the same pain that no riches could cure. The crowd expected him to push the man away, to restore the distance between wealth and poverty, black and white, power and weakness. But instead, his knees buckled. Right there in front of strangers and flashing cameras, the millionaire wept. Gasps rippled through the onlookers. Some laughed nervously, others whispered in shock. The beggar stood frozen, unsure if this was mockery or mercy. But when the millionaire's hand reached out, shaking, desperate, it wasn't pity. It was recognition. For the first time, their worlds collided not in judgment, but in shared pain. Hunger and mourning, two forms of suffering, had leveled the ground between them. And yet, the moment did not silence the hatred around them. Cruel voices still hissed, still mocked, unwilling to let compassion break centuries of division. But as tears streamed down the face of the man who once seemed untouchable, one truth became impossible to ignore. Beneath skin, wealth, and status, grief speaks the same language. And in that instant, the crowd had to choose: keep laughing or finally start listening. When the crowd finally dispersed, the beggar remained standing in stunned silence, unsure whether he had witnessed compassion or collapse. The millionaire, still trembling, turned his face away from the stairs, but not before the beggar saw the raw wound in his eyes. In that moment, two broken men, one crushed by poverty, the other by loss, were bound together by suffering that the world refused to see. The incident didn't erase the humiliation, nor did it change the years of racism and rejection that had brought the beggar to this point. Tomorrow, he would still be hungry, still be invisible to most who passed. But something shifted that night. For the first time, a man of wealth and privilege had looked beyond the skin, beyond the tattered clothes, and had seen him as human. And maybe, just maybe, the world watching saw it too. Because this story isn't just about one beggar or one grieving father. It's about every person judged by color before character, discarded by a society that claims equality while practicing exclusion. It's about the quiet suffering no headline covers, the invisible wounds racism leaves behind. The millionaire had lost his son. The beggar had lost his dignity. But what they both revealed was this: grief, pain, and humanity know no boundaries. They don't stop at class, at race, at wealth. They live in all of us. So the question remains, how many more moments like this must happen before compassion outweighs prejudice? How many lives must be broken before the world learns to see each other as equals? The answer depends on us.